This is Gospel Music Today, and it's a great pleasure to be talking to David Sutton of Triumphant Quartet. And David, welcome to Gospel Music Today.
Thank you so much. Thanks for allowing me to be with you.
Now let me ask you, first of all, how you got started in gospel music.
Oh man, I'm 37 years old now. I started when I was 10 years old. My dad sang tenor, actually, for a group over in North Carolina called the Watchman Quartet. And I started out playing the drums with the Watchman, played with the Watchman for 8 years, all through junior high and high school. And through high school, I went and heard the Kingsmen Quartet one night. And it was during the time the Kingsmen did the song Stand Up. I don't know if you remember that.
Oh, yeah.
But that particular night, Jim Hamill, he would call kids out of the audience to come up and sing. And he pointed at me that night. I went up on stage with him and stood there and sang the song with him, of course with all the other kids. And Hamill heard me singing that night. I was standing beside Gary Shepherd singing tenor. And I'll never forget it that night at intermission. He saw me walking by their product table, and he hollered at me. He said, "Hey, kid, come here." You know how Jim used to would holler at the kids. And so I walked over, and he said, "Do you know a song that you could come out and do with us the second half?" And so I knew one of their songs, and the second half that night, I went out and sang with them, and man, I was hooked from there on. I was already in love with it, but from that night on, I just I knew that's what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. So honestly, all through high school, in my prayer time at night when I go to bed, I started praying to the Lord that He would just open a door for me to where I could do this. Sure enough, 2 weeks before I graduated high school, I got a call from the Anchorman from Goldsboro. They were right there in my hometown, and they were looking for a tenor singer. And they had heard about me singing. And anyway, I went and tried out with them and got the job. I was with the Anchorman for about a year and a half. Moved on and started with the Singing Americans. I was with the Singing Americans for almost 3 years. And when the Singing Americans disbanded, it just broke my heart. I didn't know what I was going to do because, this is all I had done for the past 5 years, of my life. And I found out that the Kingdom Heirs over at Dollywood were looking for a tenor. They contacted me. I spent 8 years, it was about 8.5 years with the Kingdom Heirs. And now I've been with Triumphant. I was one of the co-founders of Triumphant, and I've been here now for 7 years from the beginning, and hope I'm here for a long time.
Well, starting out with the Kingsmen, you have high standards to live up to, I guess.
Well, I never had the opportunity to sing with the Kingsmen other than that one night, but it was an incredible night to remember, and I'll always remember that. I'll always remember Jim Hamill giving me the opportunity to sing in front of a large audience that night. He seemed to always be one of those guys to pick out some young talent, and I'm thankful that he saw something in me and gave me a shot to sing that night.
Now, did you know Clayton Inman in the Singing Americans period?
I never knew Clayton during that time. I knew of Clayton. When I joined the Kingdom Heirs, Clayton was actually with them singing lead for them at Dollywood. And now when I joined the Kingdom Heirs, I knew Clayton was fixing to leave. Clayton had already given his notice. That's when him and a couple guys were going to be starting one by one. So I knew it going into it, and I really hated it because I wanted the opportunity to sing with him. But it's funny how God works things out. I was so let down to find out that I wasn't going to have the opportunity to sing with him. We actually sang together for about 1 month during that transition time, and now we're singing every night together. So it's incredible to sit back and see how the Lord can move.
Now you got the Triumphant Quartet has been around since 2003. Started with a different name, but the same lineup.
Yeah.
You've had incredible success in a short time.
It's been really, really tremendous. The group actually started at the end of 2002, but our official first road date was in January of 2003. And one thing that we've been very blessed with, number one, we've been able to keep the same personnel, which is really hard to do. But I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that we all knew each other. Of course, me and Eric and Jeff were together several years, prior to this group. Scotty and Clayton both went to the same church that we attended there in Sevierville. So we were already really good friends. And I think when you put that combination together, it helps a lot. And so we've been very blessed there. Another thing that I think was a big part of it and a big play in things continuing to go the way they've gone so far, we were at a theater for 5 years. Theater, everything's got good and bad to it. We really enjoyed our time at the Louise Mandrell Theater. We were there 3 years. When Louise decided to retire and move back to Nashville, we debated on what we wanted to do, but the new management come in at the Miracle, and they wanted us to stay on. We stayed on with the Miracle for 2 more years. And at the end of that contract, we just really felt compelled to make a change. And it had gotten to a point that we were having to turn down a lot of our road dates because we just couldn't get there because of our theater schedule. So doors were starting to open that we really felt like that we needed to go through. So at the end of 2007, we decided to hit the road full time, and that's what we're doing now, and it's just been an incredible journey. I've been very blessed over the years to sing with some very talented individuals, but I'm so thankful that God has put these guys together. There's 5 of us, actually 6 with the sound man that we have, and we consider him a big part of our ministry as well. Sound means a lot in what we do. And so the 6 guys that are traveling together on Triumphant's bus, the chemistry has been there, and you don't find that very often. And I'm so thankful that at this point in what we're doing, it's there, and we're very blessed to have that.
Let me ask you about a particular Triumphant Quartet song, and you probably know which one, the White Flag of Surrender. Now that's a show in itself. Did that start off that way? The song has a great meaning, just as a song, but it's so entertaining now. How did that develop into what you do with it now?
Honestly, Diane Wilkinson, she's as far as I'm concerned, one of the greatest writers in Southern Gospel today. She has written some incredible songs. She sent us that song with some others. And we always, when we get hundreds and hundreds of songs in, but that song just caught our attention. Once we get the songs that we feel like we're comfortable with, we'll usually take them to Daywind, which is our record label, and we'll sit down with them and we'll start listening to songs. And I remember the day we were there, we put the song in and said, guys, we want you to hear the song. And they kind of chuckled a little and thought, I don't know if that's the song for you guys. It was totally out of the ordinary for us. But the lyric in the song is so phenomenal. A lot of times you can get caught up in, when we first started performing the song live, we just stood there flat-footed and sang the song. And it was kind of just another song. But when we recorded the song, it kind of had a bluegrass feel to it with the instrumentation that they used on it. So we got the idea, Brother, where art thou? It kind of had that feel to it. So a little along, we started gradually doing little different things with it. And at the theater, there for a while, we would actually leave the stage. Clayton would stay on stage, start singing it. We'd go back, put our coveralls on and our big old hats on, and we'd walk out on stage and, just as a fun novelty type song. But it's turned out that everywhere we're going now, everybody's bringing their white flags, their white handkerchiefs. When we start the song, when the first chorus gets there, they're waving their white flags. It has kind of turned into a novelty thing for us. However, if you'll sit back and listen to the words in it, it's an incredible written song. And Diane, she writes from her heart. And so I think it's an incredible song, even though we have a lot of fun with it.
David, thank you very much for talking to us on Gospel Music Today.
Thank you so much, and thanks again for having me.
Now back to more Gospel Music Today.